Hi everybody, welcome to Cloud Mining with Hashflare, episode 1. So in previous videos you might have seen that we started cloud mining with Genesis, and you might have seen the main video which is about our whole mining project, which is just to see what's profitable in the mining arena and how we could get involved and figure out how to make some money from it. After all, that's what everybody wants, is to try to make some money. In this case, it might be people who are just trying to gather a bunch of coin, or it might be people who are trying to just make money and, flip the coin over and get US dollars or whatever currency that you use in your country. So today's episode is Hashflare, and we were lucky we found that Hashflare was on. The numbers weren't great, but we just wanted to mine some Bitcoin. So here we go. Let's go look at the research so that we can figure out if we want to mine Bitcoin. And again, the whole concept is I want to mine Bitcoin, and I'm a little frustrated that there's none available. So the numbers may not make as much of a difference, even though that's not a wise investment theory. It's just something that I've been wanting to do. So I've gone here to Coin Wars, went to mining calculators and picked Bitcoin, and I've dropped in 400 gigahash, which is what we did as a comparison to Genesis and hashing 24. We've got 0 power. We're going to hit calculate, and we scroll down and we can see that the projected numbers are $11.34 a month. So given that number, we're going to open up a spreadsheet, and as you can see here, I've created a reference of price for all these spreadsheets, or excuse me, all these individual columns to use, and it was actually 1096 when I did the calculations earlier. So rather than make the number higher and all that, let's just keep it at the 1096, and let's take a look at each of these 3 companies. And actually in the 4th column, I had done Bitmain, and as you can see, this negative 125, it's not even worth going there. So my first choice would have been Genesis, but they've been out of inventory, or availability, I should say, for mining Bitcoin. And then, my second choice would be really between these 2 companies, because I believe they're the 2 biggest ones that have been around a while and that are, pretty safe bets. So at Hashflare, for a matching 400 gigahash of power, it was $60. So from that, point, they're pretty much equal. Their maintenance fee was a little bit higher, but it's really not a lot of, money to talk about difference-wise. So that's pretty good. And you can see here I added a per gigahash price point, so we can just see it very quickly. And the only negative with Hashflare was it's a 1-year contract. So I don't get the opportunity to get that 2nd year, which is really where the profit kicks in. So at this point, we're looking at 200% income based on the numbers that we're looking at today, if we could use Genesis and buy some hashing power. We're looking at 32% if we're using Hashflare, and then we go over to hashing 24, and they were a little bit crazy with their numbers in that they're asking for 34 cents per gigahash versus the 15 of the other 2. And they're about the same as far as the maintenance fee, so not a big deal. So the one thing they did do, which was a positive, is they made it 3 years of a contract. So if you scroll down here, you can see 36 months. And so it made the projected income a little bit nicer than Hashflare, but they also have no availability. As I mentioned earlier, I really want to just mine some Bitcoin. So the only way to do that, given the fact that hashing 24 and Genesis doesn't have any services available, I went to Hashflare and said, you know what, even though the numbers are lower, we're just going to go for it. The goal is to get some coin, and this is the way to do it. So I jump on their site real quick, and I really wasn't expecting any numbers to be here today since it's really the first day. So the one thing I noticed is that they seem to be a little quicker in respect to that than Genesis. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that I am trying Hashflare out. And, maybe I'll have the opportunity to try hashing 24 as well, just to check out the interface and how things function, maybe the customer service, and things of that nature. Now, I can tell you my immediate experience with Genesis is they don't reply to anything. They don't reply to sales emails. They don't reply to tech support emails. There's zero communications. So that's very disappointing. A company like NiceHash, as an example, is pretty responsive. And Hashflare, I did send him an email today, and I got a response today. So, I'm happy with the way some of these other guys are prioritizing customer service. Anyway, looking at Hashflare, it's a little newer style of interface. It looks nice and has some graphs and some simple things here. And you can see I ended up with 0.8 terahash, or basically 800 gigahash. And just wanted to go a little bit bigger than what I had done with Ethereum. And so, put that number in here. And you can see the revenue forecast here, which is kind of nice. I'm not sure if these numbers are based on projections from the multitude of sites that are out there to do mining calculators, or if it's based on their actual numbers that they get on a daily basis. And again, they're just forecasts. So I'm not going to, hold them to a T and say, hey, I didn't get my 2536 last month. But it's nice to see that 2536. When we were doing the 400 in the spreadsheet, let me look here, we were saying we were expecting 1096, so you'd be at about $22. They're forecasting a little bit higher, but it's still in that same neighborhood. So that's, a good sign. Going back to it, it looks pretty clean and simple. I don't think there's going to be anything negative about the interface, and really what we care about is the end result. And while maybe it's not necessarily in their control, because of course the volatility of the coin and all those other factors that go into how much we can make from it, at least they made it, appear nice. And based on these numbers that I'm seeing here, it's looking pretty good. So not much to talk about there. I'm just going to grab the spreadsheet one more time and basically go over to BTC. And as you can see, I did the same thing here as I did for Ethereum. I've got the XML function that goes out and checks the current value every few minutes and updates the spreadsheet with the current value of Bitcoin. And then, I'll come in here each day that I look at it, drop some numbers in here as far as how much Bitcoin they've provided, and we'll have a running total to go back to this spreadsheet, which will tell us how much we made. So that's about it for today. I think this was a lot shorter because we didn't go into a lot of the details that we did based on our original concepts. Hopefully you can go back and see those videos if you want to hear a little bit more about what we're trying to do. But on day one, I like Hashflare's interface. It's clean, it's simple. I like that they responded to an email in the same day, which I'm real happy about. And based on their projected forecast here, maybe it will be very close to the numbers they're showing, because they are mining, of course, with all their equipment. So having said that, I hope you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Leave a comment. If you're mining, share some information below. Maybe your experience with Hashflare, Genesis, whatever comes to mind. And if you want to see more and you'd like to subscribe, just click that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. There's also a link to Hashflare in case you want to sign up for it. And that'll give us a little bit of a benefit on our side, and it'll give you a discount when you go to buy your hashing power. So thanks for listening. I look forward to seeing you next time, and keep on mining.